So good afternoon to all. In this today's physics class, we are going to see about the force between two long parallel current carrying conductors. So this is a unit 3 magnetism lesson. So already we have completed the force value for find out the long current carrying conductor, single conductor. Here we have to find out the force between two long parallel current carrying conductors. Here, let us assume that this picture, there are two parallel current carrying conductors are there. So, A and B. So, in this current carrying conductor, it can be separated by a distance of R, and also the current moves in the same direction, both in the two parallel current conductors having a same direction of current value, that is I1 and I2 here. So you know the thumb rule very well about that. So, and before that we have to see the parameters of this. So here the magnetic field which is produced in I1, because of produced in I1 is, that is represented as B1 here, and also for magnetic field producing for conductor B, that is the I2 current, it also shows that B2 value of magnetic field, because the magnetic field always produce around the conductor. That's why they are mentioned I1 for this conductor B and also I2 for this conductor A. So here the I and also the magnetic field values are exactly perpendicular to each other. And also we have to find out the force value here. So force value is also mutually perpendicular to current and also the magnetic field. So here for I, that is A conductor, can produce the force value of inward direction. So that is, they are put in the symbol of inward direction for A conductor A, and also for B conductor is also the inward direction of, that is also mutually perpendicular to current value and also the magnetic field. So this shows when the long two parallel current carrying conductor, which is the current values is in the same direction, the force values always produce attract to each other. That is a concept here. So here the conductor A is also having the current value and also the magnetic field and also the force wheel, sorry, the force value, that three are mutually perpendicular to each other. And also you have to consider the B conductor, the current, magnetic field and force is also mutually perpendicular to each other. According to, we are using the thumb rule for each the conductor, the force value can be produced towards, that is in current conductor A and also for conductor B, they have to form a attractive force between this value. So this shows the attractive value. Let's see the derivation about this. On before that we have to take one of the value, that is a small element of length dl value is also taken that. So for a conductor A we have to take a dl value, so that is also mentioned here, and also for conductor B also we have to take a small element dl value. And also here the cross symbol and also dot symbol are represent. The dot symbol represent for B2 is the arrow out of the page, the arrow out of the page, and also it denotes the I value be the positive direction. And also the cross, that is the red color cross value, denotes the arrow into the page, that is go inside, it represents the along the negative direction of I value. So this is the important term here, we mentioned that. So these are all the parameters we used. Let's see the mathematical expression about the force between the two parallel current carrying conductor. So let's see the mathematical expression. First, the total magnetic field produces at the conductor A when the current I1 is passes through it, and also the distance separated by the distance between the two conductors is R. So that's why B1 be the magnetic field. B1 vector is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi R. So you know that there is a general equation for find out the magnetic field. So that's why B1 is equal to mu naught for I1 divided by 2 pi R. Here for a vector notation we have to use the direction. So here the components of I denotes the negative direction. So I already told that on the picture, show the picture. So here the minus I represents the negative I direction. So that's why we include that finally minus mu naught I1 divided by 2 pi r I vector. That is I vector is one of the component that is in a negative, that is second quadrant. Now let's we find out the force value. Here we have to find out the force value. We depends the Lorentz force. So that Lorentz force we have to take a small element dl, that is also we have to take in that. So because of this, here let's a small element of length dl in conductor B at which the magnetic field B1 is present. So that's why according to that Lorentz force the equation will be df vector, because we have to take a small element dl. So here also df for that small element df is equal to I2 of dl cross B1 vector. Why we have to take a I2 value here, which is the magnetic field B1 is present in the I2 value. So that's why, because around the conductor only the magnetic fields produced. So I2 dl vector cross B1 vector is equal to, substitute the value of B1. Already we found the value of magnetic total field value. So substitute the value of B1 vector here. So finally we will get minus I2 dl mu 1 I1 by 2 pi r. Here the k vector is present because the I is, here I vector is a component of the magnetic field and k vector represents the direction of the current value. So that's why k vector cross I vector. So k vector cross I vector, you know that j vector. So that's why the equation will be is equal to, rearrange all the parameters in the above equation. So you will get minus mu naught I1 I2 dl divided by 2 pi r j vector. So that is also minus also mentioned. So this is the force value and you will get the final value, that is force, full force value on the df is equal to, so here differentiate the values. So F is equal to mu naught minus mu naught I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r j vector. So you have to rearrange that above equation, F divided by L. So what's the equation? F divided by L is equal to minus mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi r j vector. So this is the value of force per unit length of the conductor, that is in a conductor B. So due to the current in the conductor of A. So that's why F by L is equal to force per unit length of a conductor is equal to minus mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi r j vector. Similarly, we have to find out the value of another conductor. Similarly, for the magnetic field, the total magnetic field for B2. So B2 value is equal to mu naught I2 by 2 pi r j vector. So here the positive I component is there, and for the force value, that is dB vector is equal to, so here the B2 which is on because of conductor A, and also we have to take a small element of dl at the conductor of A. So df vector is equal to I1 dl cross B2 vector. Substitute the value of B2 value here also, and I2 dl mu naught, sorry, I1 dl mu naught I2 by 2 pi r k vector cross I vector, that is also here j vector. Here the positive components is produced. So in this picture also you have to clearly show that the force in the j component is a positive direction, and also the force value for I, that is conductor B4 in a negative j component, that is also here represents. It also shows the direction of the force value, the attractive direction of the force value. So finally df vector is equal to mu naught I1 I2 dl by 2 pi r j vector. So F is equal to mu naught I1 I2 L divided by 2 pi r j vector. Then force per unit length F by L is also mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi r j vector. So here also. So this is the final value for force value. So force per unit length is equal to, that is F vector divided by L is equal to mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi r j vector. So what is the difference between the two conductors? The force value is that the magnitude are same but the direction are different. So here the force of attraction is there. So one force is towards the conductor B and the B force is towards the conductor of A. So that is the attractive force between the two current carrying conductors because in the same direction of I value. So this is the final value of force between the two parallel current carrying conductor. So let's see the picture also. So this is the force value which is produced. So because of the magnetic field around that, the force value is, the attractive force value is produced. Here the force experienced by the two parallel current carrying conductor is attractive. So if the direction of the electric current passing through in the same direction, it can produce the force of attractive force between the two parallel current carrying conductor. So and also in the next case, that is the current in the opposite direction. So when you are placed the current carrying conductor, the parallel current carrying conductor in the opposite current value. So what is the force value produces here means the repulsive force is produced. So here the magnetic field around the two current carrying conductor is also produced and the force is produced outside the field. So that is here represents the repulsive force produced between the two parallel current carrying conductor, the current in the opposite direction. And the next topic is conversion of galvanometer into ammeter and also voltmeter. The first topic is galvanometer into an ammeter. You know very well about the galvanometer. Galvanometer is an instrument which is used to indicate the current value in the circuit. So that is a galvanometer. So galvanometer is a device which is used in the laboratory. So that can be connected to the circuit. So which denotes the current, whether the circuit is present in the current or not, and also it shows the direction of the current also. So that is one of the instrument. So here, so that galvanometer we have to use as an ammeter. So ammeter is also an instrument that is also used to measure the current value in the circuit. So here the galvanometer is used, that can be converted into an ammeter. So how can we convert the galvanometer into an ammeter means we have to use one of the resistance. So that resistance value is connected by the parallel to that galvanometer. When the galvanometer instrument is there, so we have to connect parallel resistance value. So it will show that is it will convert it into an ammeter because it can able to show the values, that is measurement of the current values in the galvanometer also, because the pointer is also present in the galvanometer. It shows a current value, the measurement of current value also. So that's why the galvanometer is converted into an ammeter. So when you are connecting the parallel resistance, that is considered as a low resistance, that is a low resistance, that is also considered as shunt resistance. So low value of resistance, that is also considered as a shunt resistance. That's why they are using the symbol, that is a letter S is given for the resistance value. So this is the procedure of converting the galvanometer into an ammeter. When we are connecting the parallel to the low resistance value, that galvanometer act as an ammeter. So this is a circuit. So I value is the circuit current which is passes through it, and we have to connect the parallel resistance for that. The Ig current is the galvanometer current, and also the current is converted into, that is goes through in the resistance value. So I minus Ig, here the I is the original current, so I minus Ig is the current of the resistant value, and also it comes down I minus Ig and it goes the I value. So this is the parameters we are used. So now we will find out the how much the deflection produced in this galvanometer, that is the current value produced. So that's why we have to derive the equation for that. First of all, we have to started with the potential difference. The potential difference across the galvanometer is the same amount of the potential difference across in also the shunt resistance, because the potential difference is same in the galvanometer and also in the resistant value. That's why we equate the two potential difference value. So V is the potential difference for galvanometer is equal to V is the potential difference for in a resistance, that is a shunt. So that's why we have to equate the two values. You know already about, according to the Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, isn't it? So here I, galvanometer IR. So that's why we represents the G value in the suffix. So IG or G is equal to, for a resistance value, what is the current value in the resistant? I minus IG. So I minus Ig, here the resistant value is represented as S, that is shunt resistance. That is also IR here. So we have to find out the shunt resistance value. S is equal to Ig by I minus Ig into Rg value. Or whether we have to want the Ig value here, means Ig is equal to S divided by S plus Rg I value. So here S divided by S plus Rg is a resistance value. So that is a constant value here. So S by S plus Rg is a constant value that can be taken as a proportionality value. So directly proportional to S and inversely proportional to S plus Rg value. So we have to remove the equal symbol. That's why Ig is proportional to I value, isn't it? So Ig is proportional to I value. That is what is mean that when the Ig current in the galvanometer current, that is the value of current value is also. The original current value is also. So here that Ig value is equal to theta value. That is also, so theta is equal to 1 by G Ig. So that is one of the equation that is we already studied in the previous galvanometer value. So theta is equal to 1 by G Ig. That is equal to, theta is directly proportional to, that is proportional to Ig. So here also we got the equation of Ig is proportional to I vector. So here Ig is also equal to theta, proportional to theta also. Then I is also proportional to theta. So what's mean that here it represents, so the deflection in the galvanometer, that is also measures the current value that is passes through in the circuit value. So that is the concept here. So whatever the deflection shows in the galvanometer, that is the measurement of the current value in the circuit value also. So that's why the concept is the conversion of galvanometer into an ammeter value. So whatever the deflection theta value shows, that is a measurement of I value. So this is a concept.